Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Friday night edition of Not Another Rangers podcast. I'm your host for this evening, Gary. I think firstly we will start with condolences. I think this obviously been the circumstance where was it Christopher Potter passed away tragically at the game in Fenerbahce. Our thoughts from everybody at Not Another Rangers podcast are with him and his family. There's obviously been GoFundMes, and those that want to contribute, please do. I think there's very little you can say in these sort of circumstances when somebody passes away and something as tragic as that. But I think for all of us, well, we're going to talk about positive things about the game. We don't want to express our condolences at the start, and I think that's from everybody, Scott, at the podcast.
Yeah, Gary, I mean, I've contributed myself to the GoFund page, and I know a lot of people have, and it's so sad that somebody goes to football and no fault of their own and end up don't coming back, and my thoughts and my prayers go to his family and all his friends at this time, because it's horrific what happened, and there's not a lot else you can say, do you know that? So hopefully he gets back and he gets a good send off, but it's so sad, Gary. There's not a lot else I can say, but it's just so sad what happened.
Definitely, and it's not the first. I mean, there was a couple of weeks ago, obviously somebody passed away at Ibrox. These things are always sad and tragic around people that are there just to watch a game of football. So we will move on to the football and talk about the podcast about the last night's game. But yes, our condolences. So we're going to talk about the positives. We're going to talk about the game, and we've got lots to cover and what was an outstanding game. I wasn't here Monday night, and there's no truth in the rumour that I dodged the games that we get beat because I don't like to talk about it. I think that's true about the last couple of defeats. I've managed to avoid the hosting, but I was busy, and I'm glad to be back though tonight when it's a very positive result to talk about.
A glory hunter, Ricky's a glory hunter.
100%, mate. Yeah.
Only sing when I'm winning. Is that what it is? I did watch these. I watched these on Wednesday evening. I tuned in, and every one of Ricky's monologues, each and every one of them were outstanding. Were any given Sunday, or that film was that?
I think Ricky was drinking some rocket fuel. He was ranting away. Good style.
Annoyed.
They were of quality, but tonight you're going to be ranting for positive reasons. So how are we this evening, Ricky?
Oh, amazing, mate. A busy week, but wow, sat down to watch the game last night, and once again, we didn't know what to expect in Europe. This time I was laughing because all the pundits, we all thought it was going to be a step too far, but wow, guys. But I still don't want a lap of honour next week if we beat Fenerbahce, but we can put I'm feeling it on the get Jose Mourinho, get a bit of I'm feeling it on the beatbox, and get him singing along at the end of the match.
And yourself, Scott, how are you?
I'm alright, Gary. I mean, last night, probably the same as everybody watching it, we didn't really know what to expect. I think we said that on Monday, we didn't. You don't know what Rangers team is going to turn up, but last night they were phenomenal. I mean, it finished 3-1, but it could have been more. We had the chances. I know Fenerbahce had a couple, but I thought we played really well. And it's just this Rangers team this season, isn't it? They play performances like that, but over the piece, they've been consistently poor, especially domestically. But in Europe, for some reason, they excel. And I think you can speak to the most expensive consultant that does psychology and stuff, and they can work out this Rangers team because it's like a roller coaster. You just don't know what you're getting with this team. Do you know what I mean? Last night, I didn't see that coming. I thought as long as they kept the tie alive, I would be happy with it, because then I want to go next week and it's done. But last night I didn't expect that, but it was so good to watch.
So I'd agree. I think one of the things that was interesting, Ricky's flashing black and white there. It's always I've got my Rangers third kit on deliberately because they had that one last night. It is one of my favourites, and it looked outstanding as we won yesterday. I think like you, I was always, we came to the game last night, and you think everybody talks Thursday nights, Europa League nights, Rangers nights, all that sort of stuff, but things have been so miserable the last couple of weeks that you thought, just because it's Thursday night, just because it's Europa League, we're not going to be able to just turn on like a tap. And then we're in the first couple of minutes. Well, this looks different again. So, Ricky, we'll come to the team lineup first. So, there's a lot of chat. The team lineup was Barry Ferguson, or Ned Lasso, as I've seen him called in some of these things, outfoxed Jose Mourinho. When the team lineup came out, I still thought it was going to be a 4-2-3-1 with Ridvan playing wide left and Dio in number 10 and just playing that kind of solid shape that Clement's played a few times. But he bamboozled us all and went 5 at the back or 3 at the back.
Yeah, very brave. Well done to Barry Ferguson and his team, Neil McCann. I don't know if he'd watched videos of Fenerbahce. He said he'd watched them 9 or 10 times and he saw gaps. And it was a brave call, because you know what fans are like if it went wrong. But we've all been calling for it, Gary. I'm not claiming that we're all experts and stuff like that. But one thing that we've been sick with this team is this shape, this 4-2-3-1 that we'll keep saying. I know there's little changes to it throughout the season, but we've all thought, like, let's try something different. And it worked an absolute treat, because we were so good on the counter attack. And like you said, 5 minutes into these games, you can see it's a total different team than the team that plays in Scotland. In Scotland, I don't know what it is with these players. They can't find a man. Our passing is slow. It's lethargic. We play these big teams in Europe away from home, and I've never seen the Rangers teams play like this in all my years. It's absolutely. I mean, these are good teams. Well, Fenerbahce a couple of weeks ago played Galatasaray. They've not lost a game in 18. Fenerbahce. They've been on good form. Okay, they're second in the Turkish league, but look at the names of the wages they're paying. Jose's on an absolute fortune, and we actually looked like the team that Fenerbahce were supposed to be. We played an absolute blinder with our tactics. Barry Ferguson, take a bow. He got everything absolutely spot on. Team selection, bang on. The shape completely bamboozled Jose. He was trying things all night, chucking things at a wall, trying to get something to stick, and he just couldn't get anything to stick. I don't know, did you see his press conference when the Turkish guy asked him a 15-minute question, and then he pretended to fall asleep? That was honestly, that's normally what happens when Kerr brings on some of his dodgy podders. No, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was brilliant him pretending to sleep when the guy asked the question. That was one of the moments of the night. So no, team selection spot on, results spot on, players spot on, Ferguson spot on. We need to keep it going. I don't think the tie's dead, mate. I think the first goal at Ibrox is going to be so important. But next week, it's going to be one of those special nights that we all love. And with Ferguson and that behind, and the fans behind the team, I think we're going to do it next week and get the result we need. And it felt very much like the Borussia Dortmund game to me, the way the second half went, because it was at half time. It was one of the games that if they'd scored, it could have been. But we got that third goal, and then, we got the fourth goal, and then we got the fifth goal. But VAR kept chopping them off, so we'll settle for 3-1.
No, definitely. So, Paul's got a question, and I'm going to ask you two before we'll come back to some of these other bits in the game. So, Ricky, just for you first, do you think he keeps the information next week, or change it up a bit?
No, 100%. Me personally, I would keep exact same formation, but I would start Sterling at right back, Yilmaz at left back. That's the only change I would make to the full team.
What about you, Scott? Would you keep the same formation, same system?
I think you'll think about it, Gary. I mean, me mentioning Monday night. I don't know if it was myself or others. Scotty mentioned it. Maybe 3 or 5 at the back, because I think you had to change up, because I think we were too weak midway the park, defensively and midfield, you know what I mean? But he changed it in a way where it made us a lot stronger, especially the spine of the team. So I don't know, because he knows Fenerbahce is going to have to come out and attack. So he might keep it that way, because it makes us seem more structure there, because we can defend when we have to. We've seen it last night, but also we can counter really quickly. So I think he might stick with the players, maybe 1 or 2 changes, but I think in the head, Jess, because there's not any other games this weekend, he's got a kind of full 5 days to train them, 6 days. So I think he probably goes with the players that's got in this result.
Yeah. There's millions of comments coming in. I'm never going to be able to keep up with them all right, so I'll try and think as best I can. So, Linda, you've always had a crush on Jose. I think, like many women of a certain age, it's fair to say that over the last 20 years, I've liked the special one, as he was once called. So, his press conferences are funny, but he was very respectful of Rangers, very respectful of Barry Ferguson, whether it's playing his usual mind games, who knows. So just looking at Scott, sticking with the formation, I've listened to lots of pods the last couple of days and last 24 hours, and they've talked about going to 3 in the midfield. I didn't think it was. I thought it was a kind of strange 5-2, then Dio and Cerny's kind of number 10s behind Dessers, which worked well because it gave some Dessers guys to play over. And right from the start,
I think Gary threw out a game situation it can change, can't it? When you're defending, then it comes back. I know it comes back to a 5 and a 3. Do you know what I mean? Maybe a 5 and a 4. But I think offensively, attacking wise, with a lot of people going up, with me broke, with a fair amount of people coming up, but it wasn't just one in the box, it was 2 or 3 at times. You know what I mean? We broke really well, and I think I have to say Conor Barron, for not playing for the last few weeks, he come in and done fantastically because he that's the best. I know you're a big Diamande fan. I was always in the fence with Deal because he produces it and he doesn't produce it. But I thought last night he was really, really good. I thought as well he probably won his best performances. But he played in an area where I think he hurts opposition. He gets involved more. It's more suited to his game, whereas sitting deeper isn't. And I thought Raskin was superb. I thought the two centre backs, the 3 in the middle of the park, or the 2 and then the 1, and Cerny and Dessers, that spine was superb. That was very hard for Fenerbahce to work out because we broke with pace, but we defended as a unit. If one missed it, the other person got it. Do you know that way? And the structure of the team and the discipline was superb last night, I have to say. So I think he was spot on, and I think he had to do that because I think we 2 in the middle were far too open. Especially if Deal tries to press, and then we've only got maybe one there. But I thought the press last night was good at times because we were doing it in 2s and 3s rather than doing it in just 1s.
No, definitely. And we'll go through the game, right? We're going to go through the game chronologically and try and pick out the main kind of things that happened. But what do I pick out first? And this is, I was talking to Ricky briefly before we started. The way that Fenerbahce set up, now you talked a wee bit about some of the tactical thing. I think they played Dzeko and I can't remember, was it El Niri? I can't remember his name. The 2 of them are quite big lumps of a boy, as they would say. Probably not the most mobile of players. And some of the argument around playing 3 at the back was it gave you space to then get move with the ball. But they were quite a strange team to watch. They weren't what I would consider to be a European team in style. It was more the old-fashioned, get the ball wide, get it in the box, look for the 2 big guys and head it as hard as you can.
Yeah, they're not what you expect from a Jose Mourinho team. But I think they just had a very bad night. I think they had a poor night. I think Ferguson spooked them with the way that we set up. Because listen, if you're scouting Rangers for the last 5 years, then the formation's always been exactly the same. So for us to go out and play with 3-5-2 or whatever you want to class it as, I agree that Diamande was outstanding. The way that they played him, that he got the press, jump onto the defender. Because the teams there's always a mistake in these sort of teams. And I think that was what the Fenerbahce people that support them, they were a bit worried about that because they do try and overplay it sometimes. But you're right, I expect to have a lot more intricate passes from Fenerbahce. And maybe the second half, it ended up just because Jose Mourinho made so many changes. That guy that asked him the 3-hour question in the press conference, that's what he was trying to get after out of Jose. But obviously Jose was tired. But the guy was trying to say, why did you change this and why so many changes before halftime? Halftime, he changed it again. As I said, he couldn't work out our formation. He knew we were playing a low block, but he was chucking stuff at a wall, hoping something was going to stick. When it ended up being, they looked like they were wanting a bit of a moment of magic to prize us open. And listen, the nearly Butland, I thought Butland had a good night. He had some great big saves. The save at the end, I mean, 3-2. It's a lot more difficult game at Ibrox. That was a world class save. He still had ropey moments, but well done to McGregor for telling him to wipe out proper because Balogun had a bit of tightness and he wiped out proper, and then we got Big Balogun on, and that changed the game for us because he was just incredible at the back, the amount of headers he won. But no, I mean, we always do this in Scotland though. Anytime Rangers win away, it's like, oh, we're disappointed in Fenerbahce, we're disappointed in Nice, we're disappointed in Betis, we're disappointed in Man United, we're disappointed, you know. It's always the same. These teams are all crap and Rangers. But listen, you've got to give our team and our management team credit, because if someone had said 4 weeks ago Barry Ferguson would go against Jose Mourinho and completely school him, people would be thinking it was absolute madness, and that's exactly what happened. And it was again another. We've only had them away from home in Europe this season, but another perfect night for Rangers. Fans were outstanding. Ferguson was outstanding. Players were outstanding. Just one of the nights where everything goes right.
So we'll dive into the game then. So Scott, the first 10 minutes, I actually thought we were really confident on the ball, passing it about, looking to press them. You could see straight away there was don't know if it's maybe been away from my books, as Barry Ferguson said after the game, just that level of confidence being outside Scotland. Dale was pushing right up. Cerny was obviously quite narrow. It was a little bit like the Gerrard days, wasn't it? With your Hadji and all those, and just right quite tight in there. We get the first goal. For the first time in my life, I've seen that the guy hold the watch and say go, and I've never seen that before. I didn't know that's how it worked. The tightest of tightness over the line, but no more than we deserved in that first 10 minutes.
No, it's really. I mean, we got a bit of the luck with the break, but we deserved the break because we were pressing. If it was demanding, it was Cerny were pressing. It broke to Dessers, and I thought he done really well. And listen, I just know the line. It was like Ross Clark said, it was like with the fishing line, wasn't it? It was that close, but it's over in the day. You can't complain. But that's what you get when you press, because a lot of times you let teams work out for the back. We don't press them. We've done it there, and I have to say I've watched Fenerbahce a few times just because they're on TV and I wasn't doing much. I knew we were playing them, but I have to say I was disappointed the way they played. I was expecting a lot more from them. So you can look at it both ways. You can look at it and say, were they as good as I thought, or you have to give us credit for not letting them play. They are quite slow at the back. I thought at the back they're poor. I was expecting the big boy has got on for PSG. I can't remember his name.
Sarichar or something like that.
He used to play on a Milan. I've always thought he was a good player, but I thought he struggled with Dessers. Honestly, I thought he struggled with Dessers' movement and just his presence. But as Rangers, Gary, we go away from home and we're not expected. We're not the favourites. There's no pressure on them. And they seem to relax and play where they can play. But when we come back domestically in the league, they know they have to win. A draw's not good enough. And I think some of that pressure they don't like it. Also, they struggle to work out teams when they're sitting doing the low blocks. They struggle to work that out. But like you said, maybe Mourinho set up that way because if he watches in the last 3 home games against Motherwell and Queen's Park, the long, even the straight balls into the other boxes causes issues. Not mind anything else. So maybe that's why he played the 2 big guys and tried to get balls into the box. But Ferguson probably knew that was going to happen. That's why he went to 3 because 3 made it harder for them. I know Jekyll's decent, but he's still got a bit of physicality, but his pace is away from him because he's 37 or something like 38. The other boy is decent as well. He scored a few goals, but he's not the quickest either. And we were stopping that game because we were 5 at times. We had the 2 midfielders back as well, Raskin and Barron. And we were just closing down space. Not as much as the players were just closing down hundreds of space. And they found it very difficult to work. And even when later on in the game, they're just crossing the box constantly. And Big Balogun must have won more headers last night in his whole career because he was winning every single ball in that box.
And Suter's the same. Suter loves that type of game when you're able to just defend, sees defending.
Yeah.
So the first 15 minutes, obviously, I think we're in command. We're 1-0 up, playing things nice. Fenerbahce for the next 15, 20 minutes or so come into it. As you say, Ricky, Butland. I think Butland's his decision making. I don't think he's obviously not a good coach and saving. He seems to make strange decisions right now. Even the weekend against St Martin, another ones. There's things that are just his mind's going a bit erratic. He runs out for a ball he should never be going for. Takes Proper out of the game, and to be fairly Proper, he played fine up to then. So we can criticise Proper, but he wasn't doing it wrong at that point. But takes him right out of the game, and very lucky not to concede a goal as the 2 of them are sprawled on the deck.
It's for him. That's his form this season because he made some very good saves. But I mean, he had a few like balls at his feet where he's under no pressure and he just kicks it out the park, you know. And when you're playing these teams away from home, the most important thing is that you keep the ball. I know you're not going to keep the ball every single time that you've got the ball, but you can't be giving them easy possession, and that's what Butland kept doing. And then when he wiped out Proper, it was absolutely bizarre, the communication. I mean, it was a sore one. I mean, he absolutely smashed into him with his head. Like, that looks like Proper will be out for a few weeks now with the way that he absolutely hammered into him. But I agree with Kerr. It was one of the best things that could have happened to us, and that's no offence against Proper, but Balogun, when he came on, was just unbelievable. Him and Suter, I mean, Suter's block just before half-time. And the only thing I'll say about the defence is I hope next week, if we do play the same way, the Suter's got to be a little bit more clever with Balogun. We've got to defend a little bit higher. I know McCoy's kept going on about it in commentary. And I know it's easy when you're 3-1 up to just keep getting deeper and deeper. But we were defending so deep the last 10 minutes, and it was easy for them just to keep pinging balls into the box, and it just takes that one to drop, and then bang, it was 3-2. But we defended really well. Balogun was winning every single header like an absolute giant at the back, and I mean, people keep saying we need to find a younger version of Balogun, because him and Suter is exactly what this team has been missing when they've been out for the last. There's a bit of physicality. Sterling as well, when he came on, I thought St. Maximin was giving Yilmaz a really rough time in front of his family and all that was watching him when he came on. He was absolutely skinning him, and then Sterling came in and got closer and started smashing into him, and that actually led to one of the goals. But no, good night again from the defence, and hopefully these guys can stay fit now, because we see last night in this competition. I don't know if you noticed that. It'll be interesting when we get to next Thursday, but I predicted this. All the favourites start to go out. Ajax are struggling, Spurs are struggling, Man United struggling. Obviously we're still flying, but it's amazing, this competition. And it was exactly the same as, I'm not saying we're going to get to the final, but the year we got to the final, it was exactly the same. People just expect these massive names are just going to roll teams over and get to the final, and then you'll have the Dutch team that knocked out. Oh no, they had a brilliant result as well. If you look at all the teams that on the first leg, I mean, it's absolutely fascinating, this competition, and it's the same every year. So we've got a good chance to keep game at a time, game by game, just sneak into the last 8, and then see with who we get, if it's Roma or Bilbao, and then you never know what can happen in this competition. But it's always a fascinating competition.
I think it's, you know, and I've been watching the Champions League during the week. It's certainly the most competitive of the two competitions in it, in terms of you don't really know who's going to win most of the games. Scott, we lose an equaliser, and you know, there's sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and say it was a good goal. You know, it was a good cross for the corner. Raskin flicks it on. You don't expect the centre half to volley it in the top corner. You know, in some ways, I know people say Balogun could have been a wee bit to the left and Butland could have reacted quicker, but it was a good goal they scored. And at that point, you start to get a little bit nervous that our good start has been undone.
To be honest with you, I think you can look for faults in the corner, but I think Raskin tries to clear it away, but the boys next to him, I think it comes off both their heads and go back. I didn't expect the guy to shoot, Gary. I thought he might be going to try and put it back into the box. I didn't expect him to shoot, and he hit it, and I know people were questioning Butland, but I think it went too fast. He wasn't expecting that. He's expecting the cross back into the box, and there's a good finish. Like you say, sometimes you've got to say good finish. I'm not looking for negatives here. I just think he took a chance and he done it. You could do that again in another game, it goes over the bar, but he took it and he scored. And last minute, we could have dropped our heads in, and we kind of did for 10 minutes, but we get back into it, and it's just one of the things that happened, because Balogun had him quite well marked as well. I was like, the boy, he was just thought about it. I want to go for this, and if it happens up our end, we applaud it. So it was a good finish.
No, it was a really good goal. So if we take probably the next 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes of the first half, you know, I'm trying to remember it, because obviously I might be missing bits and pieces, but Jeffrey was almost clean through and should do better with one. Raskin has won probably, I can't remember if it's before or after the Cerny goal. And Cerny obviously scores the second to put us 2-1 up. Now, I'd just like to talk about this, Rick. I'll let you talk us through this, because what a 1-2 with Dessers. You know, the two football.
Mate, I agree with Jose Mourinho. Dessers was unplayable last night. He was absolutely incredible. If you look at the highlights of that match, right? His finish is incredible for the first goal, right? That's the only place he can put the ball to get it over the line. Are the defenders going to clear it? His finish was absolutely superb. Kerr put in a comment today, maybe Billy Dodds is helping him, and that could be the case, you know. But Ferguson has definitely given him confidence. Dessers has been the best player since Ferguson came in by an absolute mile. He's the one player you can see that just needs that bolt of lightning through him that Ferguson's given him, and he's taken it. He feels like, now I am the number one striker. It's not Igaman, it's not Danilo, it's me. The second goal is, again, the pass. It's the only place he can put the ball for Cerny to run on, and it's a great finish from Cerny. Incredible pass for the second goal. And then we'll speak about the third goal later. But again, his little touch to Raskin just telepathic bang. Raskin's ball, we'll speak about that later as well. But just Dessers, and then his 2 goals. If he'd scored one of the 2 goals, and I don't think the first one was offside. I think that is absolutely. As soon as we get these animated offsides, it'll be a lot better, because VAR chopping that off was absolutely ridiculous, right? But his overall performance was 10 out of 10 if one of the goals stand. I think we had 5 or 6 players that were 9 out of 10. And Dessers, if he probably still a 9 with just the 1 goal, but if one of the goals had stood, that would have been a 10 out of 10 performance. And mate, if Dessers plays like that for Rangers, nobody's saying anything negative about Cyril Dessers, you know. It's before the big massive patches, but now his goal record this season, and when he plays like that and the way he's played since he won the game against Kilmarnock, he got us back into the game. He got us back into the game against Motherwell, and he was unlucky as anything with the Danilo one that hit his knee, apparently, that was offside. And then again last night, he's basically won us the match last night. If the reason that Ferguson's formation worked so well last night was because of Diamande, Cerny, and Dessers being telepathic, unplayable, one touch, fast, pace. That was why Ferguson's formation looked so good last night. If Dessers had a night where the ball was bouncing off him all the time and he couldn't get it under control and his finishing was like slow and thingy, then that we'd be speaking about a different result. We might get a draw or something like that. But he was the man. He was 100, and Scott keeps going on about it. And Scott, how much more do you want, man? Do you want me to Jesus? You want me to? I'm giving you everything I've got here about Big Cyril, right? He was fantastic.
Let Doug explain Dessers best. Doug in the
Aye.
comments, he's got it there. But his conversion rate this season increased. So he's hit the target more. He's missing less big chances. And he's playing better, really, this season. We're still focused a wee bit on how he played last season.
It's still been in patches though, Gary. I'm not on about last season. Let's forget about that crap. And you've got to call it as you see it, right? The start of the season he was good. I remember he scored when we were playing at Hampden. He was banging in goals. Then he went through a massive long period where he looked like he's never played football before, and he was absolutely hopeless for months. So let's not rewrite history here. And then he came back into the team. It was a surprise. Danilo got injured again. What a surprise. And then he came back into the team when Egerman could have been the number 9, because Egerman was on for him, but he came. And since then, he's been absolutely outstanding. It doesn't matter. He's not going to score in every single game, or he wouldn't be at Rangers, but he's allowed to have games where he doesn't score. But if he plays and it's at least he's banging goals in every couple of games, or he's going through patches like he is now, then nobody's going to slag Cyril Dessers, that's for sure. But listen, would you now, when the Turks come in and offer 20 million, I think Fenerbahce are going to be the new Birmingham next season after last night. So if they make a massive offer for Dessers, then what we're going to do in the summer now?
See if a Turkish team or a Greek Olympiacos or any of these teams that buy these guys about 30-year-old, they'd rattle in the goals to them, to be honest with you. I think he would score tons, and you'd be looking and thinking, what player that boy is. Sticking with the Dessers then, right, Scott, as Ricky says, probably the biggest thing for you last night's game was the way he held the ball up. He won fouls. His movement was superb. Obviously, the 2 offside goals, scored 1, assisted 1. Everything about his game was the focal point. The things that a lot of people don't think he can do a lot of time, and we all know a lot of time he can't. But everything that he'd done, well, I was going to say everything he'd done worked well. There was a couple of times once he runs through, and you think he's went to chop about 10 times, and another time he maybe should have played. But overall, his performance was probably his best all-round performance of the season, or best all-round performance since he joined the club.
Probably, Gary. And see the thing is, Gary, he's keeping it simple. Mm-hmm. He's not overthinking things anymore. He's keeping it simple. And that's coming from Billy Dodds. He played up there. McCann played up there. They've told him, don't make things harder than they have to be. Keep it simple. Like the goal we scored with Cerny, he kept it simple. He moved off the defender. And as soon as he got it back, he had it back straight away. I mean, Dessers took a touch before that. That's what he was done before, took a touch, maybe tried a shot, but this has been drilled into him. This has been maybe the coaches, like I said, teammates, maybe himself, just to say, because he knew Cerny was still on the run, so he moved it. As soon as he hit that ball back straight away, the defender doesn't know where to go, they go to him, and I know it was an acute angle, but generally still took it really well. That's the thing, he's doing the basics really well, he's making things a lot more simple. He's not overcomplicating things. And then when he gets his chances, he has been taking them. And that's all we really want. Listen, every player plays bad games and get criticised. And he'll still play bad games between the end of the season, he'll be criticised again, but that's football. That's what happens. Football fans are fickle. So we can sit here and praise him tonight. But if he misses in 2 weeks' time against Celtic or whoever else, we'll be criticising. That's just football. It happens to every player. It doesn't matter if you're like that, Messi, Ronaldo or Dessers, it happens to everybody. So, but when he plays a game like last night, then we're going to praise him because last night for me, he was the best man in the park.
Yeah. So the great showman's put a comment here, and I'm going to just pick up on this. So he might turn out to be good. I think to be fair, the guy scored 40 plus goals in the last 2 years. As Ricky always says, he's always available week in, week out. He will miss chances. But he also talks well. He seems resilient. He seems to know the club. He seems to understand what he's doing there. He's got a lot of attributes you want.
Yeah, and he's came back. Remember, he was getting booed. I mean, I'll still remember. Fans remember him. I mean, Jesus, against Celtic, I don't know if he refused to take a penalty, but I mean, the left back came up and barely could reach the goal from the penalty spot when their striker came off the bench, was fresh and never hit a penalty. It's still bizarre to this day why Dessers never took a penalty in that shootout, and the fans were booing him, and so. And it went on for a few weeks, but you were at Ibrox, you could hear it. Okay, it might have got less and less, but he was still getting booed when he was coming on cup games and stuff like that. So if Dessers, remember McCoist and Haitley, if Dessers could come back from this and win us a title and be the number one striker, then I think this will be the greatest ever comeback from a Rangers player in history, if he can do that. But again, if we're looking at next season, just to go on a little bit, is again, you said this quite a lot, Gary, actually, and I believe you're right. I mean, probably Danilo's the one we need to be moving on if you're looking at things, because the guy can't stay fit. He's been here now 2 seasons. Desser's fit every week and he's banging in goals. And okay, he's hot and cold, but Danilo's unreliable. And then you've got Egerman, who's a young guy whose form was always going to be up and down. And hopefully now, because I don't think he's going to be starting at Ibrox next week. There's no chance Egerman will start at Ibrox against Fenerbahce. We don't have a game at the weekend. So it will be interesting to see when Ferguson does put him back in the team. Hopefully the pen is dropped and we see the player that we've seen for that 2-month purple patch where he was absolutely red hot. And because young players are going to go up and down, it's his first real season as a professional footballer, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with Egerman now. But for sure, it's Desser's jersey now. He's our number 9 for sure every week until he loses form again, and that's the way it should be. If you come in the team, you play well. You say to the manager, drop me if you want. Look at the way I'm playing. I would love us to have a squad full of players that have got that attitude, can fight for the jersey like that. Then we would be challenging for titles, that's for sure.
So let's look at the second half, Scott. So Dessers scores twice, then both are disallowed. I mean, what 2 things I would say? One, the football for both of them was outstanding, on the different levels. Second one is a more general point, the VAR and the offside. Even something takes a couple of minutes and it's that difficult to find whether it's a shoulder that's offside or whether it's a big toe. But football's supposed to be about scoring goals, and you start to wonder, that isn't what offside was designed for. It wasn't designed to be that forensically examined to stop goals actually happening. And that's more of a general point, but whether there should be some sort of tolerance, something like 6 inches, which I believe is that. Is it that? 6 inches? Can't remember.
Lucky will show you in a minute.
Is this only fans now? What's happened to the pod, man?
But there is, he scores 2 fantastic goals, and you're left waiting for the slightest of reasons to stop them. And just talk us through your thoughts on them and how unlucky they were and all the stuff that goes with it.
The problem with VAR, Gary, is it doesn't please everybody. When it goes for you, you're happy. When it goes against you, you're not happy. The first one, I think there has to be a bit of common sense with saying we bit of advantage to the attacker, but the line, I don't know where they drew the line. Drew the line through his arm. Do you know what I mean? I always thought if you couldn't hold a part of your body, then you couldn't count that. But so I thought the first one was very unlucky. I thought the way it come up on TV, I thought it was poor the way they done it. But the second one, I thought it was just offside. To be fair, when I seen it, I thought it was even when they scored, I thought he's just offside there. But the first one was very, very debatable. But like I said, you know what VAR's like. They go back. How long do they go back? How much do they want to see? What angles are they taking? It's you don't really know because they don't really tell you. They just show you TV screen a line through it. Like the line can be drawn anyway. It's just a straight line, but that doesn't sometimes concur with the actual angle where they're playing. So I thought it was very harsh. But listen, that could have put the players back for the players could have heads coming down there, especially two of them very quickly, and they could have went, God, we're not going to get here. But they didn't let it affect them, and it shows you what they were thinking last night. But like I said, if that happens next week for Fenerbahce, you have two chances like that and you get two offsides, I'll be more than happy. So that's what VAR does. I don't like it, Gary. I would still sit here and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. If we're going to grid it, I'd be 100% happy because I just don't like it at all.
No, I think that's it. You know, when it's there and that's the way it works, but it doesn't add goals to the game. It tries to find reasons to stop goals, sadly. And you go, Ricky.
Yeah, no, I think I really like this. I like the automated offsides that they used in the World Cup, and they were going to be bringing that in the Premier League as well. And for all the money that UEFA have, you think they could. I don't know if they're using that in the Champions League. I've not really seen that much Champions League games this season, but I like that automated because it's supposed to be almost. But I mean, that first goal, come on, guys, honestly, like how can you look at that and 100% be sure that that is offside? And it's even with the lines and everything, the lines were all over the place. The second one is clear. And 100%, listen, we were very lucky because if we didn't have goal line technology, that goal, Desser's goal didn't look over the line. I was like, what goal? No way. It did not look over the line. It looked like a great clearance from the guy. So with the naked eye, it was very, very difficult to see. So the technology worked brilliant there. But why it's chopping off? Remember the Morelos one at home against Dortmund with that clown of a ref who went to the monitor and when he bullied the defender and he chopped it off. Sometimes these decisions are absolutely shocking, and there's no way that first goal should have been chopped off. The second one, clear offside, clear distance, you can see, fair enough. No complaints whatsoever, but we should have been free ones.
Wenger's looking at some sort of thing. There's got to be daylight, or there's got to be the foot, or something that makes it a bit more to do with national advantage being gained.
Yeah, but I mean the problem with that is you're still going to have. They'll still say you'll have the same thing, and because they'll still say, okay, then it's not 5 inches or it's not 6 inches. It's like it's by the millimeter. So you'll have the wills. Care. Stop getting excited here, man. We're speaking about offside decisions. So you're still going to have that. You're still going to have that nonsense that we've got just now. But the best is we're never going to get it in Scotland, but the automated, they're fantastic. I loved that in the World Cup. I thought it was brilliant, especially the first game when Qatar scored a goal that was about 10 yards offside, and then they got it counted, and you were like, what's going on here? So no, I liked that during the World Cup, so I'd like to see that brought in. It's never going to be in Scotland. We're still going to have one camera angle in the dodgy. Willie Collin was doing his famous show today. Apology to Rangers, they've renamed it. But for in Europe, you would think with the money that's in Europe, you would be able to. They'd have these things sorted out by now. I mean, how many years has VAR been on the go now, and we're still. Some of the decisions are still absolutely baffling, and it's costing teams. That could have cost us last night.
It's not just us. I mean, we all know it's all teams. You know, I watched the Liverpool PSG game and how that wasn't a red card. You know, there's some, you watch bizarre decisions week in, week out. Well, I call them show the day, as you said. There's things like Arthur Johnson who gets away most weeks of something, should have a penalty given against him, but and potentially a yellow card. So there's loads of decisions that go at different points, but we'll focus on the game. Second half, Scott, you know, we're doing well, playing nicely. You're getting a bit worried when two disallowed goals means you're expecting them to bite you in the arse, I think, is the way to put it in it.
You're expecting them to get a wee bit of a win for that, haven't you? Expecting them to get, well, thank God that's two offside goals you've had, we're still on this. Let's go and get an equaliser, and that's what I was expecting, but obviously it never happened. Because sometimes that gives opposition.
Yeah.
A bit of fresh air, and it gives you a wee bit of, God's sake, this referee's we're not getting any luck here. But it seemed to just give us more fight, as in, well, we've offside, they've chopped off 2 goals. let's go on your other one. And you couldn't look at the third one that was you couldn't look bring that back for anything. Do you know what I mean? Because we won the ball very deep in our own half, and Maskin plays a fantastic pass. If anybody, if somebody in the Liverpool shirt played that, Carragher would still be talking about it. That's what he's like. But he played a fantastic pass, and as soon as Cerny was through, I knew he was scoring because he doesn't really miss him. Yeah. Never really misses him, and it's a fantastic pass, but a fantastic finish.
I mean, it's a great goal all around. You know, I think Raskin passes it to Dessers. Dessers bounces back to him, and Raskin, who is a really good player, but he's not known for his creative ball passing. Brilliant ball. Cerny's. I think the thing was when Cerny goes through, you expect him to score because he just opened his body up and just finishes so well. But by that point, you know, I think we'd weathered any storm we'd had. Sterling had come on for Ridvan, who was starting to struggle against St. Maximum. Dio looked knackered, and we were quite comfortable. But it was an outstanding goal, and I think I was reading before I come on, Cerny scored, scored 17 goals and 4 assists in 35 games he's got for us. Between that's just the league and the Europa League. I think he's the top goal scorer or contributor in the Europa League. And we have this debate every week about would you keep him or would you not? Do you know, when you watch him at times, he is outstanding in terms of what he can do.
Yeah, he can win you a game on his own, really. You know, he didn't have to do that last night. He had 6 or 7 teammates that were equally as good as the way he performed last night. But he does have the capability when he's on top form to win you a game. But you remember before last night, he had like 5-6 weeks where he was still contributing with goals, but he was pretty dreadful. He was pretty dreadful with his performance. But I don't know if the whole team has been brought down with this same formation, same players, same, you know. So it'll be interesting. I'm still a little bit on the fence with Cerny, if I'm being honest. I'm a bit worried that if we go and pay 6 million at his age, then he sort of reverts back to the numbers dip off a little bit, and then he's hiding a little bit, and it's like you're stuck with a player, 3-year contract, his age, no sell-on value, and you've wasted. It is, for me, I would like to see what he does up until the end of the season, and I would wait and see, and then I would hold my judgment until we've got some massive games coming up. We're still in Europe. If he keeps playing the way he is until the end of the season, then, I mean, we get 2.8 million, I think, if we qualify for the next round. So that's half his fee. So when you start to look at things, I'm still 50-50. So we'll wait and see how he performs in some of the games towards the end of the season. We've got 2 Old Firm games. He's not been too clever in the set against Celtic so far. So, and then we've got these other games in Europe. And then, so for me, end of the season, let's see.
Yeah.
I think you've got to try and get him. That's if a new manager wants. I think if he does, you've got to. I think to get somebody else in to replace what he's given this season will be difficult. Do you know what I mean? It is a lot of money, but remember, Ricky, we're going to be loaded shortly. No, it is. But people say his age, he's only 27.
It's player trading nowadays, isn't it? We're obsessed with player trading at MD above 23, 24.
But no, every single player you buy, Gary, is going to bring the player trading model. There's only going to be a percentage of that. You can't buy 11 players and then think, are we going to resell them all? You're going to have to buy some experience and some players to do you for a good few seasons. But others, you can bring in, have 6 months, a year, and then if they do well, move them on. That's the way football is. But I think you've got to seriously think about it. It just depends when the sporting director comes in, and then if it's a new manager, we don't know who it's going to be. Do they want him? Because at this moment in time, when you look at the team, he must be one of the players you'd want to keep out of everybody we've had this season, because I know the stats can tell you a lot of things about a player, but when he performs,
guys, you got to remember, we're still 16 points behind Celtic, so we're all on a high because of last night. We're doing well in Europe and everything, but I know, but Kerr, it's these players, like, how many are we keeping, you know? So Dessers is the striker next season, Cerny's the winger.
No, but they're going to have
Diamante's the man, Tav's the captain, Butland in goals. It's like, guys, and I know last night was fantastic and everything, but at some point, and I agree with you, Kerr, it's got to be who the new. He can't get rid of 10 players and. Sorry, he can get rid of 10, but he can't get rid of 20 players and bring in 20 players. But
I'm going to ask you this question. So would you go for Seaman if you had a choice between Seaman and Cerny right now?
Oh, Cerny for
Seaman.
me all day long, not even close.
Oh.
Cerny for me, Cerny's been the best for me loan signing we've had out of all. Tillman, and Tillman's probably a better player now than he was when he was at Rangers, but all the loan players we've had since sort of last 5 years, Cerny's been head and shoulders above the rest. And listen, I love his numbers. I love Cerny as a player. I think he's a very right-sided player we've needed for ages. He gets numbers. He's very effective, but it depends how much money we've got to spend, and like, because the team needs so much work done at, you know. So if you just say, like, let's go and spend I think I'm sure the fee has been set by Wolfsburg at 5.6 million. That's how much they want for him. So that's how much Rangers need to pay, and it's like, it depends how big the rebuild is. You have to look at the budget and say, right, we need this, we need that, we need this, and it depends what's available at the time. And does Cerny even want to? I know he's having a great time. Does he even want to stay at Rangers? That's another question. I mean, is he using us? And this is why he's so good in Europe. He might be using us to see what his options are, and that's his right at the end of the season. So it goes both ways, guys.
No, definitely. And
the money we'll get for winning the Europa League will pay for him, no bother.
100%.
So I just want to say, Doug, please come on every week and just fast that saves me having to look for things. That's superb. You know, that's so useful in the comments. Appreciate that.
Stats are very good, Doug. Brilliant, man. It's good. Good effort.
Send them over, and that keeps
just get Doug on the pod, sitting next to Ricky.
Cares. Oh Jesus, I'll need to learn some stats. Didn't do that.
So the game finishes 3-1 result. Great result. I want to pick out some players because some of them were really, really good, and I think we do deserve a bit of a mention where we can. First, Raskin, Scott. You know, you're a big fan of Raskin. I'm always get slightly frustrated with him, but he was outstanding for the whole 90 minutes. I think Dio probably had a great 60 minutes. And tired. Raskin probably had a stronger 30-90, and then so between the two of them, they were excellent.
I thought the two of them played really, really, really well, and I thought that's the best the two of them have played together for a while, and I think it was due to the fact Barron was there, because they were able to do other things or go for balls they might think twice about, because if one goes, no one isn't there, there's a big hole there. But I think when Conor Barron is there, they could take that chance to maybe press more or go for this, or two of them go for something, double up on somebody where they know, like, if he misses this, Conor Barron's still there anyway, and you've got your three at back. So I think information actually helped both of them. Raskin, I mean, his passing isn't great at times. That ball, I didn't think you had it in him, but that ball was superb. I didn't even think Gary just hit it like you says. And I know Diamante's got so much potential, but he frustrates me as well. But I thought last night he's playing slightly further forward in a slightly different role, and I thought it suited him more. I thought he pressed, I thought he held the ball, I thought he linked up well, getting forward, getting back, and I just think the three of them in there complemented each other well last night, and I think that was kind of frustrated Fenerbahce because they weren't expecting to be sitting. I know they weren't just sitting there constantly, but I think that they were expecting just to maybe the two, and I think they didn't expect Conor Barron being brought in there just to kind of shore things up, and they didn't expect the three as well. So it made us the structure was better, but it made us more tougher to break down. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, to be fair, Nicholas missed us two sitters. He did have two good chances he should have done better with. Gave away some fouls. That's what a central midfielder does. I'm probably more critical of him than Scott often is, but I did think he was an excellent game. I think Diamante often looks prettier the way he can pirouette about and move, and his kind of energy, whereas Raskin's probably doing more of the donkey work at times.
As Eric Cantona always said, Raskin's a water carrier, isn't he? Does a lot of donkey work nobody else wants to do, and you need players like that on your side. It doesn't matter if you don't think they look pretty. You need guys who do the work that nobody else wants to do, and that's what he does.
Yeah, Raskin's the engine.
Different opinion, so that's what football's about.
Raskin's the engine of the team, man, and all our good form that we had, the purple patch after Christmas when we beat Celtic, and the team was playing well, all was because Raskin's performance just went through the roof. He was giving us energy in that number 6 position. Finally, he looked like the player. Finally, that we thought we'd heard about from Belgium, that was highly thought of, and a bit Barry Ferguson-esque in a way, you know, but obviously he's not as good a passer as Ferguson was, but that energy, and he showed that again last night. That's his first, he went off the boil again for maybe 3 or 4 weeks, but last night he was back to that real energy in midfield, and the foul one's brilliant. That's what you want to see from him. That's what he should be doing in that position. If you're number 6 is no committing fouls and no getting booked, then he's not doing his job properly.
I think, starting with you then, Ricky, so Conor Barron been out for 6 weeks, went off with knee ligament damage, if I remember rightly, against Manchester United. We've seen since, was on the bench at the weekend. I thought he was excellent last night. Joe, he worked tirelessly. I think, what did he last 90 minutes, 80 minutes? He made such a big difference, just doing the simple things.
He needed that performance, you know, because it's been a while since we've seen that Conor Barron, and fans take it for granted with some of these players. We're a bit harsh on them. They come in and he was really energetic. He was brilliant in the midfield. The team was pretty poor, but he was a standout. And then the teams, well, it coincided with Raskin's form. So Raskin came in the team and stole that number 6 jersey, and he was providing all the energy, and he was a level above Barron. But last night it was good to see he came back in. Exactly what he needed to do away in Europe. His performance he was very dogged, helped Raskin as well, close the spaces, and it was very difficult. Like you said earlier on, they were punting. The reason they were punting crosses in and they brought on Saint Maximum, and he was their most dangerous player, because they couldn't play through our midfield. Every time they were trying to play through our midfield, Raskin or Barron was there. Diamande was there. He tired a little bit later on, but it was a real good shift from Barron and Raskin. And as I said, he needed that performance. Great to see that he is a young boy. He's learning. And I think Ferguson, I know he's probably only going to be here at the end of the season, but if you can't learn off a midfielder like Barry Ferguson, then you're not going to learn off anyone, because he was a proper midfielder back in his day. And I think he should do the world of good for Raskin, for Barron, and for Diamande. And the Diamande sort of said that after the game, that he's taken in a lot of what the coaching team. I think they're a lot more one-to-one with the players rather than what Comont was in that weird coaching staff that he had. You can really see that it's starting to come across on the pitch, which is great to see.
Yeah. So, Scott, then you talk about the spine of the team. So, Balogun 100% of his aerial duels, I think they said, when he came on. You know, Suter was diving, he loved a good block, jumping in front of something. Then that, I think one of them was a goal save. And Tav actually looks like he's a right centre back in a three quite comfortably. As a back three, the much as Fenerbahce some play, lots of crosses. Butler made a couple of good saves, if I remember rightly. They looked pretty solid, pretty comfortable most of the game.
The back three were really good. They didn't do anything fancy. They were just defending, Gary. They were clearing the lines. They were only trying to play the ball at unnecessary times when they didn't have to do it. They were just like winning headers, blocking shots, getting rid of it, passing it to maybe people that can do something with it, hitting it long into channels or chasing on. And they weren't doing anything. They were, like I said earlier about Dessers, they went back to the basics of defending. Just get the ball and clear it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes that's the best way. You can't score if you're looking nose head, can you? So that's all they were doing last night. Balogun came on, I thought he was superb. He was one of everything. Suter was, for been out for a while, he was really good. And to have it through the game without really doing any mistakes, because he was just defending and just keeping it simple, what he should be doing. And the three of them played really well together. And it was very hard to break down. And I mean, we're not a big side. We are not a big physical football team, and that kind of at times goes against us in the Scottish League, because there's a lot of teams out there with big boys, physical boys, but we coped with them last night because some of their boys are quite big and physical, and you get two up front straight away. But we coped because the awareness was there, and they weren't them at marking, but they were winning balls when they should. And if one wasn't winning it, somebody was right behind them to win it, and that's having the three there. It helped.
Do you think? You know, I suppose just picking up on that, the concentration then for the team yesterday, that was probably the thing that's quite obvious. And one of the things that's probably been lacking a lot of time in the domestic games has been the concentration with that ball over the top or losing stupid goals. Whereas last night they were switched on from start to finish pretty much. And obviously you'll lose chances because that's football, but there was a focus, a kind of laser focus that's often not there. Certainly wasn't there on the Saturday against Motherwell.
Suter makes a massive difference to the team as back at the back. Like he is a seized defender. We all know that with Suter. He's probably, if he could defend like that all the time, he would be playing in the English Premier League. There's no doubt about that. And if he doesn't sign a new contract at Rangers, he might end up in the English Premier League, because I'd imagine there'll be teams at the bottom that want to take a chance on him. So getting that physicality back into the team made a massive difference. The substitute of Sterling for Yilmaz was a very good substitution because they were really starting to cause us damage on that left side. And Sterling is okay, he's made of glass, but he has got physicality, and he's got pace as well, and he is actually a good defender, Sterling, at right back. He makes good tackles, so that was a great substitution as well. So just getting a little bit of pace and power back into the team. Look at the players we've been playing recently. We've had Tav at right centre back, Proper still struggling with Scottish football. You've got Yilmaz at right back, and I like Yilmaz, but he's never ever a right back. And then you've got Yefte, who's been a little bit off form, playing at left back. So the team has been total of missing that physicality. And Butland is, you've got to remember, like these losses as well. Butland has been so out of form this season. And these teams are beating us, but we're gifting them goals. You know, it's Yefte mistake, it's a Butland mistake, it's easy goals we're giving away. And then once you do that and you're chasing the game, it's very difficult in Scotland. So it'll be Ferguson has been really. It's a bit disappointing that Motherwell result because he's been almost flawless since he came in, except for that obviously Motherwell result. I heard his brother speaking on a podcast today about the family loving it and being the manager and stuff like that. And I just hope that we can keep this going, knock out Fenerbahce. And imagine he knocks out Fenerbahce and beats Celtic in the same week, then I tell you what, that'll be not a bad week for our caretaker manager. That'll be him above Graham Murray and Stuart McCall in the caretaker manager's history.
Kenny McDowell, what about Kenny McDowell? Will they beat him?
Yes, he'll take over them. He'll go to the top of the caretaker history managers. He had one game, one loss, and then gave up.
So the game finishes obviously really, really positive. I don't know if I've missed out any players, Scott, that you probably want to pick up on. I think we've covered the majority of them. I think it's a good all-round team performance there, but they half a dozen stood out, maybe more than others, but you couldn't not really knock him down.
No, you can't, Gary. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say every player we should keep, or if we get beat last week, every player should go. Right. Sometimes with this Rangers team, you're just going to have to take the good and the bad this season because that's the way they're performing. So we criticise them the last 3 games at home against St Mirren, Motherwell and Queen's Park. We've criticised them then. Last night was phenomenal the way they played. So I'm going to sit here and give them plaudits, give them a lot of positive stuff because they deserve it, but it doesn't take away from the league performances. But we're only commenting on last night, and every one of them was brilliant. And we just wish they could turn these performances into domestically. But it's not the first time it's not the first time we've done this. Look at when we got to the final previously, and Gio was manager. The league performances were roughly the same.
Yeah,
we were poor in the league as well back then, but in Europe we were really, really good. And so it's been happening with this team for maybe the last 4 or 5 years. Domestically we've been poor, but in Europe we've been really good. And it's something that does have to change. But while we're getting these results in Europe, we take it and we sit here and we applaud it because we're always 9 out of 10 times criticising and complaining.
Yeah. I'll not ask Dado who the good, the bad and the ugly is, if that's meant to be one of each of us, one's which. So just to finish then, so we're enjoyed it. It's a good game. Roma beat Atletico Bilbao 2-1. So we'll play one of them. I actually
watched that, Gary, last night. I watched the Roma game and I have to say Atletico were lucky. It was only 2.
Lucky, really?
Roma played really well. Listen, my Bilbao's got a lot of good players. They got a man sent off late on in the 85th minute and they were down to 10 and it was 1 each and then Roma scored 93rd minute. But
so who would you prefer then?
Gary, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's Leipzig, Dortmund, Leipzig.
I don't think it does matter, but I think
you can't say, okay, I'd rather go to Spain. They're like third in the Spanish league, or you'd rather play Rome in Italy. It's Rangers, man. It's
you asked me a question. I don't really know, to be fair, because Roma are playing really well.
I prefer Roma.
Since Ranieri's been there. Bilbao are playing at home. They're playing well in the Spanish league, but they're getting back home in the finals there. So it's in the back of their mind to make this final because it's obviously in their home stadium. But so I think that game's a knife edge. I think that game can go either way. I think if Bilbao turn up at home, then Roma might struggle. But there's a lot of teams left. I've got a chance at this. They all think the same as us. Bodo's 1-3-0. I mean, Bodo always play really well in Europe. They've got a good chance. Do you know what I mean? So there's Lazio, they won away, and they're a good team as well. So there's a lot of teams probably thinking, like Ricky mentioned earlier, a lot of the favourites maybe on the left, or they're struggling with performances like Spurs and Man United, and they're thinking, if we hit a bit of form in these games, we've got a chance to make this final, because it's probably an open tournament. You couldn't probably say somebody's clear-cut favourites. At all the teams that's left, you could probably say 3/4 of them have got a chance on it. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how open it is.
Yeah, I think the reason I would like Roma, and Curry's put it in the chat there, if Roma get through and Lazio get through, we then play the second leg at Ibrox, whereas if it's the other way around, we play the first leg at Ibrox. So that's the one advantage. Ibrox in the second leg gives you Zig and all these other ones memories. Yes. So that's certainly, and certainly I probably think stylistically Roma might be better for us. I always think Spanish teams are that technical, whereas maybe the Italian ones are a bit more tactical. However, we've still got a game to play next Thursday against Fenerbahce. It's only half time, as you say, in that way. We shouldn't lose from a 3-1 advantage going into the home leg, but the game's not over. The game's not over. Still, and we will preview that next Monday, I think. So we've no weekend game to talk about. Fortunately,
game's not over till the large person sings.
Yeah, exactly. And that could be hopefully that large person is Dzeko next week. So, Ricky, you usually keep up to date better than we do. Is there anything else I've missed that's really happened? Are we just going to focus on the game? Any big news?
No, I mean, it's just a game, mate. I mean, the takeover's still bubbling away in the background, so that's going to be good news soon, I think. I think the guy was at the match last night, I believe, the head of operations of 49ers, Andrew Kavanagh, I think his name is. He was, Willie Vass never misses anything when he's away with that camera of his, man, you know. Never cheat on your wife and take her to a away game in Europe, because Willie Vass will catch you. He catches everyone in the crowd 100%, mate. So he caught. So yeah, that's good. And there's a lot of rumours today about a director of football is very close to being announced as well. I saw that today, and so that's interesting as well. So they're obviously making these decisions with Patrick Stewart in the background, 100%. With this company that's looking under the bonnet, Sportsology, are basically the 49ers, as if you look at the big picture, and they're telling Patrick Stewart that, look, this is what we want for next season, so let's get things moving along, because they understand that they have to get the ball rolling for a new manager for next season. Curry was on about, I mean, for me, a new manager's going to come in, but I would love, if everything goes well, I would love some of these guys to be staying around as part of the coaching team going forward with for next season. I think that they're good Rangers men. They know what the club is all about, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that's miles away at this point, so that'll be interesting as well. So a lot of things to get. We're no game on Saturday, but there's a lot of things to get our teeth into for sure. There'll be Rangers news over the weekend. It never stops.
Yeah. So, and I think that's as good a point, Scott. Unless you've got anything to say, I think that's a good way to finish for the evening. We will be back on Monday night.
Everybody, thank you for watching tonight. It's always a pleasure. And I see there's not a lot of fans from other teams on the night. Seems to be just all Rangers fans for a change, which is good.
And there's been tons of comments, tons of interaction. Linda wants a Not Another Rangers podcast calendar with staples placed strategically, I'm assuming.
We'll give Ricky that he can be in charge of that.
We will be back on Monday night. So there's no game at the weekend. Hopefully there'll be some Rangers news, but we'll be previewing the game on Thursday. And if people want to have any other thoughts or comments, or want to have questions they want to bring to us on Monday, have them at the ready, and we will hopefully answer them. So thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank your contributions, very much welcome, and we will see you on Monday evening. See you later. Bye now.